Adding a file to a learning module. There are several different ways that you can add a file into a learning module. But the first thing you need to do is actually navigate to the learning module that you want to add a file to. In this example, we'll go ahead and use content. So if we click content from the course navigation menu, we're going to see our list of learning modules here. So let me look at module 1, and this is an example where we already have several different files in here. We can see that it builds out this table of contents on the left. Let's go ahead and return to content, and I can either do that by clicking in the course navigation menu or up here at the breadcrumbs. I'll go ahead and click on the breadcrumbs right up here. And let's go ahead and we're going to pop into our example, which we've created in a previous tutorial. So this is where we can add different content items inside of here. To do that, we're going to go up to Build Content, and we can go down to File. So once we've clicked on File, we can see that it's going to ask us, what do we want to call this thing? And then for this, we're just going to call it Example, and we'll move forward from there. But this would be your lecture notes or whatever you would want to title this inside of here. Next, this is where we have to make a decision. So if this is a file that we're uploading from our computer, we can click the Browse My Computer, and it's going to come up with a list of files inside of there that we can upload. Or we can browse the content collection. Either way is acceptable. If you click Browse My Computer, then it's going to upload this file and it's going to dump it just in the root folder of your content system here. If that means nothing to you, don't worry about it. If you have a better structured backend where you actually have files and folders for all of your files, then you're going to want to click the Browse Content Collection. And this uses the content collection inside of the system. And I can see here that I have content, and if I'm using the institutional template, this is where I'm going to want to go. And then if I wanted to borrow a file from maybe module 1, I could select it and then say Submit. And it's going to go ahead and pull that in here. What happens when I do this is it's going to ask what kind of permissions do we want to give to the students. And this means that other items in that same folder may be hidden, but we want students to be able to see specific areas. In general, the default is fine. Give users access to all files and folders inside of the folder. Unless you have maybe your test answers or something like that hidden in that folder, you'd want to be a little bit more careful and say only to this file specifically. But if everything's okay, you can let that open and keep it on the default right here. So next, you can add alignments to the content, and if you're doing that, you probably have a very specific reason that deals with goals inside of the system. Next, we can look at some of the standard options. Should users be able to see this file? In general, the answer is going to be yes. That's why we're adding it here. But if you needed to hide that visibility, you could go ahead and say no. Do you want to track the number of views? Do you want to see how many times this object is actually viewed? There, you could say yes, or you can say no. Also, like almost all other items inside of the system, you can have a selective date as far as when it's going to be visible and then hidden again. And we'll do that simply by selecting the display after date and the display until date, and that gives it a nice little sandwich of time for it to be available, and then it will disappear before or after that. I'll go ahead and deselect these for now. Next, we click Submit. And now we're going to see that this has been added inside of our learning module. The same thing can happen for PowerPoints, for Word documents, PDFs. Of course, make sure that you're using accessible documents whenever you're using these kinds of things. And this is how you're going to pull those files and documents inside of your learning module.